then we had had a chance to go to church with
Go
our
to
kids.
church.
And man, I can talk all day about this. And this is where I actually went on a rant. And I'm not going to go on the rant this time because I don't think it's a good idea. But one thing that I guess before I talk about the testimonies part that it made an impact on me. But just the fact that we were able to go and spend time with our kids and go to church together, you know,
Yeah.
makes you feel like you've done something right.
Yeah.
you know and even though we can't take credit for that kind of stuff because our kids got their own minds, they make their own thing. But we didn't do like we didn't screw up to the point that makes them not want anything to do with God, right? So at least were okay enough for them to make the decision on their own,
Hmm.
right? But not run away from it.
Yeah.
That's important because the last thing I want to do is live a life that makes my kids not want anything to do with God, right? Because I can't get my stuff together. Now my kids aren't going to experience the best thing that I have to offer, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I've tried to live my life in a way to where it's like, okay, maybe I don't represent God's kingdom like to the best, but when you look at me and you see the way that I live my life, I'm hoping that there's something that at least makes you look into it and not run away from it. Because if you're running away from it because you're looking at me the way that I live my life, then that's something wrong with me, and I don't want to live like that. And so I've tried not to live like that. And so it actually makes me pretty proud that our kids, are all open to a relationship with God, and it's nice to I guess to think that we had something to do with it, right? And so it's cool. So we went to church. Our daughter and our son-in-law, they picked a nice church. It's a Bible church, and they don't skip any pages. They don't seem like they go line by line and chapter by chapter, verse by verse is what they say. And and so this past Sunday they were talking about how they select the elders in the church, and they had three of their elders that came up there, and they wanted to kind of give them a background about them, and then talk about how they pick their elders. And so the elders of the church are pillars of the church. They're the ones that you go to whenever the Bible says whenever you're feeling sick, go to the elders, right? And let them lay hands on you, and the prayer of faith will make you well. And so you know they they gave them each a chance. There was three of them, gave them a chance to give their backstory, and I thought it was refreshing to hear uh, like three testimonies from people who you know they seem to be raised by good families, and they found God at an early age, and they decided to live their life for God at an early age, and now they have families of their own, and they're raising families, to live and serve for God, right? That's the way it's supposed to work. It shows you that the process actually works, right? And because people say whenever they're finding God, they say trust the process. And well, it's hard to trust the process when everybody's screwing up every left and right. You know what I mean? When there's no consistency in the process, it's hard to trust that. And but it's easy to trust it whenever you see grandfather, father, son, grandson, all serving God. You can look at that and you can say there's something about that works, right? And and so that's refreshing to me. I mean, nothing against the testimonies where you know people fall down flat on their face, or they're addicted, or they things were tough childhood, stuff like that. Nothing against that. Everybody needs God, and it's not like any one thing is better than the other, but that's not the prerequisite. You don't have to screw up your life really bad and then figure out that you hit rock bottom, and now you find God. You can find God in the highest, when you're doing good, right? You don't have to be, and I think that that's sometimes people, whenever if they mess up really bad, they think that God won't take them, and that's not what I'm talking about here. But you don't have to mess up to find God. You can be someone who makes good decisions, and and look at God and say, this is the way that I want to live my life, right? You can be a good husband, you can be a good father, you can be all of that, and have all your ducks in a row, and still find God, and he will make your life better, right? It's not a thing to where it's just the people who screw up their lives, right? That's not a prerequisite. And so I like to see a mixture. It's just those type of testimonies, they're boring, right? Because we're so programmed to want to watch drama.
You want to
you know
watch an intro and then the plot twist
yeah,
and
yeah,
then the conclusion when you
yeah.
start watching the show.
Yeah, I mean, even like I'm watching my shows, I don't, if it doesn't have anything to do with nauticals, or like Breaking Bad or something like that, I won't watch it. I won't watch a nice wholesome family show. What's wrong with me? The same thing that's
You
wrong
need
with our audience.
Jesus.
I know, I need Jesus, right? Well, the same thing when we get our testimonies, right? Whenever someone's like, oh yeah, you know what, I found God when at an early age, and I've lived my life for God, and he's blessed me all along the way. We're over yawning and grabbing, going to the restroom and stuff like that. But if someone has some drama in their testimony, and we're all in it, because we like that kind of stuff, but it was refreshing to hear boring testimonies. And when I say boring, I mean that it's just, this person wasn't strung out, he wasn't in jail, he wasn't, he just lived a normal life, found God early, man. And it's like, it's a beautiful thing to see that. Nice variety.